The last of the finals across week one is on Sunday at 4 o'clock between the Canterbury Bulldogs, resurgent in 2024, and the Manly Sea Eagles. These sides actually met very recently, just a fortnight ago, and Manly produced one of their best wins of the season on that occasion. So it promises to be a fascinating matchup. First time we've seen the Bulldogs in the finals since 2016, having spent a lot of time in the wilderness, plenty of wooden spoons in that run as well. And this is a big matchup between a couple of big sides. We'll jump into our finals focus. Looking at the key stat for the Bulldogs, and it's actually stopping an alarming trend. They've been ranked third defensively in the competition this season. However, they've conceded 78 points in the last 2 weeks. Their defence has fallen apart over the last fortnight. Their last round effort, conceding north of 40, was particularly concerning. So if there is some solace for the fans of the blue and white, is that has not been the norm. Generally, they've been very frugal. Was it just a little blip coming into the finals? If they can arrest that, then they have the structure to do some damage, but they have to stop the wheels falling off. Key player for the Bulldogs is Josh Curran. We spoke about how much their defence has been the cornerstone of their success, but also their offensive improvement this season has driven them back into the finals. And Josh Curran's going to play a really important role in how much damage they can do to the opposition, and part of keeping that forward unit cohesive if they are going to down Manly and reverse what happened 2 weeks ago. Well, the key stat and the key player in many respects is Tom Trbojevic for Manly. 34 score involvements in 18 games. It's a staggering number. 17 try assists, 17 tries himself. And their success over the course of the season has quite literally had his hands all over it. They've been a little bit better at covering him when he hasn't been there this season, but their ability to compete deep into a finals campaign hinges largely on that number and him being as effective over the course of the season as he has been here. Reiterating that, 34 score involvements in 18 matches, so that's almost bang on 2 a game. So producing nearly double-figure points in terms of scores and score assists for his team. Well, we did mention Tom Trbojevic, but Daly Cherry-Evans at the other end has to get to his absolute best defensively if his team is going to get to their best defensively as well. So probably those two players, one in very different roles to the other, is going to be vital for Manly to compete not just in this game, but through the finals. Interesting looking at the history here. The recent head-to-head is poor reading for the Bulldogs. They've lost 10 of their last 11 against Manly, but remembering they've been a pretty ordinary side for a few years there. However, they've won 4 of the last 5 finals between the two sides. You've got to go back about half a century for all of those matches. 1975, I think, was their first meeting in a final, but 4 from 5 for Canterbury in the head-to-head in finals. If you look at the run into September, Manly have split their results 3-3. They lost to the Wooden Spooners, the Tigers, in that run, so their form's patchy. The Bulldogs had won 5 in a row, but have dropped the last 2. So a contrast to the other elimination final where both sides are flying, but these two sides have a few little concerns heading into this one. Well, unlike the other matchups in week one of the finals, these two sides have clearly met the most recently. Only 2 weeks ago, Manly 34-22 winners on the road on that occasion, one of their finest wins of the season, and helped secure them a spot in the finals in the first place. So that was a game where Canterbury made far too many errors. They would have gone to work on that, and they'll certainly be keen to atone. Probably the hardest game to pick in week one of the finals. Two sides with a few more holes in them than some of the others, but also capable of plenty. I think that Manly, despite their indifferent form, their last 2 weeks have shown a slight upturn, and for the Bulldogs, those defensive concerns, I'm not sure they can flick a switch and just change that immediately. So I think Manly might just squeeze it. Bit of experience as well will be a key factor in that one. So I think they'll advance to week 2, but almost a flip of the coin job. You can preview this one and every final at the NRL Finals Hub at zerotackle.com for the latest news, stats and reviews.